Okay, so now I can put my sunglasses on for my walk, and you're gonna go on my walk with me. Not the most flattering angle, but I know you're not judging. So, okay, so I think it's so brave that you are doing this. You're ready to take the leap to connect or to commit to what you found your passion and your calling are, and make that your full-time life's work. So I think that's really cool. When I watched your Patreon videos and looked up your the LinkedIn pitch post that you referred to, sorry about that. You know how it is with a dog. The overwhelming impression I get is that your campaign will go as far as you being able to articulate. You like my new hair? It's blue and purple. Your campaign will go as far as you being able to articulate, or the way that you're asking is, you're only going to reach people who have met Linda and like Linda and will donate to support Linda. But I think what you're asking for is and what will be more compelling and will raise a lot more money is if you make it clear what the cause is. And by cause, I mean really articulate that problem that you're solving. I know you've done a lot of really great introspection work on, what does your life's work mean? What are your strengths? What are you really good at? But I'm still very unclear on who has the problem and how you're solving it. Why do you need to solve it? Sorry about that truck. Why you need to solve it from your unique, this very non-traditional role. So an example is you've alluded to feminist groups not cooperating with each other enough, and I'm going to be backlit for a while. That tells me, okay, there's a problem you see of them not reaching their potential because they're not cooperating with each other, and maybe they're afraid or threatened that each other has competitive aims, and there's a zero-sum game where they're fighting for the same resources, so they don't want to cooperate with each other. But I am not necessarily convinced that this is a problem, or that them cooperating does yield better results, until you give me some case studies or testimonials. Sorry.
Okay.
So if you can name some organizations and say what was, who in the organization was having the problem? Was it the executive directors of the nonprofits? Or the fundraisers, the directors of development, or whatever it was at these organizations, that was that they were facing stagnation, or they were not gaining enough support, or not enough participation, or things are waning, whatever it is. What is that problem? Before Linda stepped in, and then if it was you're building a bridge between two organizations, you'd have to present these two struggling organizations, and then what did it look like when Linda stepped in and got them to work together? What was like maybe an event they created together, or a way that they shared their respective strengths. Like, we had this great mailing list, and we have this great access to celebrities or high profile speakers, and we combine that, and we got like all this amazing, like we raised X $100,000 or X tens of $1,000s by combining the power of the two, which was more than we have raised in the past 5 years with our individual holiday donation drives. So really making specific case studies of evidence like that, where there's a problem, and even better if you can like get those people who have the problem to stand up and show their faces or give you a quote of the problem they had before, and then the better result they had after you were involved. That really makes it more clear what it is bridging means, and how bridging can benefit more nonprofits or more organizations that look like the ones that you've already helped. And then when I see like, okay, you've done this for these two groups, then when I'm encountering other organizations that look like those groups, I'll recognize that, and I'll say, oh, this is a problem I've seen before in Linda's case study, so I know that I just need to introduce them to Linda in order to fix their problems. But like without that, I just kind of generally know, okay, Linda is good at introducing people to each other, or opening up conversations. But I don't know how to tie that to, like, I care about this organization, Women Who Code, or I care about this organization, Moms in Tech, but I see that they are having like these engagement challenges. I don't know that that's a problem that Linda is right for. So the more that you can show the problems that you're solving, and show that there are real people whose jobs it is to support these organizations and make these organizations run, and that like those specific people can be helped by you, then I think what you'll get is more valuable than the Patreon supporters is the introductions and connections to your potential clients. And that's, I think, like the main thing that will change it from, do I want to fund Linda, or do I want to fund feminism? Like, I think that people, they give more to causes than to individual people, especially if it's like you're not struggling, you're not like when Katie was hit with the hurricane, people poured out money because they knew that, like, what it means to like lose your house, lose your business, whatever. Whereas you're asking people to take a chance on you pursuing a dream without really saying like the problem that is going to be solved in it. And I'm like talking in circles. I'm going to try to like say a complete distinct sentence and then start a new sentence. So that's the end of that sentence. The main thought I have is like there's this concept of like a visible victim, and charities are much more successful when they show the victim. Sorry again, it's like apparently trash day here. So the visible victim is really important. Not like saying like paint a victim picture, but like really clarify that problem statement, and the actual people in these organizations, the like, oh, okay, so anyone who has a fundraising problem, or a community building problem, anybody with the title community builder or development, I should point to Linda, because Linda might be able to help them do their job better. That, like, if you can make it more concrete who those, they're not victims, but who those people who need your help are, then we can give you those connections. And like going back to like illustrate my point of the visible victim, there's an organization that I have donated to several years consistently, called Smile Train. You may have seen them. They provide cleft palate and cleft lip operations to fix children's cleft birth defects around the world, especially in the developing countries, where a cleft lip or cleft palate, because it's so visible on your face, can have really limiting effects on your life. So they restore these children, or they fix these children with a surgery that is very well like it's repeatable. It's a very known surgery, and they say the cost is very clear. It's just like $250 surgery, and this child's life can be completely solved, permanently. So like that's like, okay, then I'll it's a very discrete cost. I know exactly how much it costs to to fix this birth defect, and it's just a matter of funding that that repeatable cost in order to solve this problem. And what they found is that in their fundraising communications, like the letters that they send out and the marketing materials, their TV campaigns, their Facebook campaigns, whatever, they found that it's much more effective to use photos of the children before surgery rather than after surgery, because when you see that picture of the problem unsolved problem, that motivates people to donate and to give to fix that problem, rather than seeing the smiling, happy kids after the problem has already been solved. Because when you see the problem, it makes you want to solve it. When you see that, like, okay, this organization has been successful at solving the problem, they're less. So I don't need to solve it anymore. Even though we know that there are still children born with cleft lip and cleft palate every day. So they have learned that making... Oh my god, there's a spider. Sorry. I hate it when I see spiders on the baby stroller. Okay, so... I'm not saying find a victim, but I'm saying make the problem that you're solving more at the forefront. I think you see the problem, and that's what's motivated you so strongly to devote your life to this and to say that you need to do this full time. But none of us have been face to face or witnessing this problem and seeing that the Linda approach can fix it with and so we need that education of there is a problem here. Organization X and Organization Y have aligned goals, but just because they're different organizations, they have not been cooperating. And then Linda comes in, they cooperate, and now they're able to do more together. That, I think, is going to really help in terms of attracting not only funds, but also connections to organizations that would hire you as a consultant to do, like, to basically amplify and boost their ability to accomplish their goals. So that's my feedback to you. I do worry for you that this is going to have to be a re-education every single person you meet, every single organization you approach, because it is not their typical way of going after their goals. But if you can, like, maybe it looks more like a director of business development, or, you know, like a business development manager, where you sit in an organization and you're responsible for making those partnerships with other organizations. That seems like the more standard title for the work that you want to be doing, and maybe the more stable version. And like, that's like, if you're finding that, like, the organizations you talk to don't want to accept your description of, like, you have a problem, and if they're resistant to the idea, or they don't want to admit that they have this problem, then it might be that, like, they just want it named something different. Like, I think a lot of organizations do want someone in charge of partnerships. Like, Lean In had Ashley Finch, who ran partnerships for Lean In, and it sounded a lot like what you would want to do. I know you want to be neutral, but from an organization that has a lot of resources, they can, you know, in that partnerships role, you can be reaching out to the other organizations that you think really would mutually cause, like, a 2 + 2 = 5, or 2 + 2 = 10, you know, kind of situation, if they cooperate with the organization that you sit in. But that's like further down the line. I think like, you know, if like you're probably onto something. You definitely can try the neutral approach, being an outsider to both organizations, but it's definitely making your job, I think, 3 times as hard, because you have to convince one organization, you have to convince a second organization, and you have to not only convince them to do the cooperation, but you also have to somehow convince somebody, either one of them, both of them, or these third parties like your Patreon supporters, to fund you. And that's seems like a lot of energy being put into getting the funding versus doing the job. So I've rambled. I've taken up a lot of your time. But let me see if I can boil it down to my main points. Number 1, try to focus your message or your pitch less on, do you like me as a person? Do you like me, Linda Brandt? To, do you believe feminists need to band together in order to really achieve change. That's number one. It's like make your message more cause oriented than please like me, yes or no. Number two is try to find concrete case studies and evidence that your approach works, and help describe the people who need your help, the job titles at what kind of organizations. And the more specific you can be, then the more we can recognize that, okay, what you're doing is right for this kind of job title at this organization, and I know like 3 people with that job title at various organizations, and maybe they should all get the Linda Brandt injection to be more effective at whatever their organization's goals are. And number 3 is consider different models for the type of work you want to do. You're going out on a limb and trying this neutral Patreon funded version of bridging work, but you can also be open to the possibility or the model of doing this in a partnership or business development role within an organization that is willing to pay you a salary, and where the ED really does believe in the partnership model enough to fund you to go out and make those partnerships with other organizations. So those are my 3 points of feedback for you. And for accountability, I would challenge you to case study. It can be in video form or written form, or slideshow form if you want to be like visual with stills, of the problem, or whose problem you're solving and what that problem is. And even better if this case study can include some results that you have gotten in solving that problem with the Linda Brandt approach. All right, so that is my challenge to you. And that is seeing a case study like that, or an articulation of the problem. You don't have to have gotten results yet, but just an articulation of the problem is something that I would fund meaningfully through Patreon or an ongoing basis, or whatever other way that you would want to see support. All right. Thanks for listening to all my rambling, Linda. And thanks for putting up with my preference for asynchronous conversation. I really love how you have formed this, the Facebook group, and keep us all informed. You are a really great role model for anybody who wants to make a big change in their lives and needs support. I think so often we don't ask for support from the people around us when we're taking on something hard, and you have been so creative in how you take on this really big goal and big audacious dream. I think it's really awesome. So like if I ever, maybe I am already in it, try such a such a thing, I have a great model now in you of like how to go after it, and how to make it public to my personal board of directors, how to come up with creative ways to keep people informed and engaged about my progress toward my goal, and really, especially, I know it's hard to make that ask for support. I felt so bad that you've had to ask me twice so far, and I haven't been able to send you back the feedback that I have, but better late than never. And I'm really proud of you. I'm really proud of you for doing everything that you're doing, and especially for making the ask for support, which is really, I know it would be hard for me, it's hard for you, and every day that you make these posts and these videos is just really inspiring, because I know that you are practicing facing your fears and your reluctances in order to, all in honor of this commitment that you have to the cause. And I just want other people to see the cause that has motivated you so strongly. And so that's why I just want you to articulate it more in a way that those of us who have not stood in your shoes can see without needing the many years that you've had in working with all these types of organizations. All right, my dear. Thank you for listening to me again for like a half hour. I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope you're enjoying the spirit of the season, and I hope you're staying warm. It's still 60 degrees and it's quite lovely here in California. But I know it's probably getting much, much more cold in Minnesota. And I don't envy you, but I know it makes for really great photos and memories, because the colder it gets outside, the cozier it gets inside with the people that you love and the animals that you love. All right, from me, Maggie, my dog, and Evangeline, we wish you a great week. All right, bye.